And hello and welcome to our session right now with Joanne Brooks, Business Growth and Strategy Mentor. Hello, Joanne. Nice to see you be our next speaker.
Hello, hello, and thank you for having me, Sigrid, and thank you, ladies, who are here today and watching the recording. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
So good to have you here, Joanne. You empower founders to reclaim clarity and control in uncertain business landscapes, including, leadership support, cash flow profitability, all of those areas. You yourself are a founder who's launched 17 companies over the past 25 years, scaling one of them in particular to become a $30 million business. And you have shared some of that with us before.
Mm,
Today, you're going to give us some insights on the topic of how to scale your business without losing your soul.
yeah.
How does that come in when we're talking about so many different businesses that you've started? Did you lose
Mm.
your soul on the way somewhere?
Oh, I feel I did, Sigrid, very much so. And there were so many lessons with that. And I will be the first to admit that it took me a while to realize what that lesson was. And so you're right. My whole journey started with becoming an entrepreneur. I'm going to say it was about early 2000s. I was a very different person up until that time, had some personal trauma hit me, and I decided that I didn't like what had been happening in my life before and that I needed to change something. So I decided to go down the journey of business ownership. And I'll be also the first one to say that I was pretty arrogant in regards to that. I was a commercial lender prior to that. So I was always talking to business owners about preparing their cash flow, having a plan, how are they going to find their clients. And guess what I didn't do when I first started my business? All of that. I didn't do any of that. It's very interesting what you do. It's a bit like the painter doesn't paint their house. You do, sometimes you enter these things, and I speak to many women in business who are very excited about the opportunity to start their business. They've got a genius. They've got a lot of things that they bring that they just want to share. But for me, what I know is really, really important is these foundational pieces. And so I was very fortunate. I did have a mentor who did the back of the head and said, Joanne, what are you doing? And thankfully, it was only about 6 months in. So I picked myself up and got myself going. So that was the start of my journey. And as you say, there was a lot of companies in that, a lot of different structures, a lot of different collaborations, etc.
Mm.
And one of them was a $30 million business that took just 24 months to hit that level of turnover. But just remember, that wasn't an overnight success. That had 30 years of
Mm.
finance, business ownership behind that. And it looked pretty awesome. Like I look at the photos and all that sort of stuff. And from the outside, I know it looked like, wow, this is awesome. Big contracts, big teams, lots of fast, ridiculous growth. But what I know on reflection, because that business, which we haven't shared yet, and I'll just tell you now, I liquidated that company through a series of perfect storm elements, and it brought me to my knees at the age of 57. That was in 2016. I was a bit younger than that, but it completely wiped me out. So I'm a woman at my mid to late 50s who's lost every dollar, every vehicle, every house, every income stream in one foul swoop. And I don't say that to seek sympathy. That's not what I'm looking for. It's to say to you that at 62 now, it's never too late to start or restart or re-go. But what I do know after that liquidation, I was burnt out, disconnected. I realized on reflection that there was a lot of disconnection from being connected to my purpose, why I was doing what I was doing, and I was absolutely in complete overwhelm, utter overwhelm. You know, and I realize, it's interesting. We somewhat celebrate the hustle, but no one talks about what happens after the big wins, especially when they don't feel like a big win, right? Sometimes you go, I shared a post the other day. I won this massive contract at one point in my career. It was a huge banking contract to educate their staff. And I went, wow. And then inside I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to do that? and you just put up this lovely facade. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'm going to do these great things. And then you go, oh my gosh, how the hell am I going to do that? Thankfully, I did. But that experience, all those things became the foundation for how I support women in business today. It's not about growing, about how to grow well.
And I think that is absolutely key what you've shared there, Joanne. And I remember you have shared that with me previously.
Hmm.
It's all about what we put out there, how we go about it, what it looks like at the time, but rarely is it being said what went into it, and that not always it is just one person's doing. You did a lot, but you also worked on having contributions to it, contributors to it. So it's you as the leader, perhaps in some way. And I think perhaps all of us often experience that we are leading it along, and it looks like we are doing it all. And yes, we can get burnt out and burnt with it all and lose our
Mhm.
soul in it. Yet we need to have a look at there are others and other components that have contributed not only to the success, but eventually also if that happens to a downfall. Joanne, do you want to say a bit more about the contributors or having to contributing components when you start a business? I love that you're looking at structure initially, starting and moving forward with it. There's also contributors in that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't necessarily use that language, that word, and that's perfectly okay. But one of the things that when I speak to women in business is, congratulations, you've started your business. First question is why? What is the purpose? What's the impact? What are you looking to achieve? And if I go down the rabbit hole of what does success look like, they haven't often articulated that or clarified it. But there's also a second question. How will you exit? And invariably, the eyes do a little bit of a eye roll and they go, really? I don't even have one customer yet. Why on earth would you be talking about an exit strategy? Because, as you just mentioned, Sigrid, I often speak about foundations. And if I can just give a quick little analogy here, if you're going to go and ask a builder to build your home, we know that he's going to put some really solid concrete foundations into the ground, right? If you want a two-story, three-story, you're a millionaire and you want to build a high rise, the builder's going to put stuff down to the ground to hold it and keep it there. So my question is often to women in business. So you're going to build an amazing business. You've got these aspirations. Where's it going to go? So where are your foundations? Have you got financial literacy? Have you got systems? Have you got a circle of advisory board people? Have you got a circle of people to support you? And we were just literally talking about this not 10 minutes ago, Sigrid, about creating a circle of these amazing women that we're meeting today. Who have you got to give you that support and to lift you? And what are you doing in regards to your foundations? Because foundations might be considered a little bit boring, but let me tell you, when you've got systems, automations, processes, SOPs, and you've got collaboration partners, the one thing that you are doing, and I know the finance ladies on this call will resonate with this, you're building physical financial value in your business.
Mm.
Because when you go to exit that baby, someone's going to go, oh, how reliant is Joanne? Is the business on Joanne? I don't want it to be reliant on me at all. I want systems. I want all those things so that I can go buy it with glee and give me a whole bunch of money because I've worked really hard to build that, right? And what I don't want is leaders, women in business, female-led businesses get to that point, whatever point that is in their business, and they go, "Oh, big for sale sign, shingle going up. It's for sale, and I want this much money." And people go, "Well, I'll give you that much." And then they go, "Oh, crikey, I can't retire, I can't sell, I can't do that. Oh, I'm exhausted. I don't have another 10 years to go fix this thing." And I don't want that for women in business.
Mm.
I want them to put all this, what's considered boring stuff, but it can be done really efficiently, really well. But as I said, and I'm sure as I said, the ladies are in the finance game here. It's building financial wealth value in your business.
So scaling starts with a foundation is really what's
Yep.
coming through to me very strongly here. And I totally agree with you. It resonates that there are some who will say, oh, this is boring systems and all of that foundation
Mhm.
setting up. No, no,
Mhm.
no, I don't want to know about that. I've just got this wonderful offer, this wonderful product. Let's just get it out there. But I
Yes.
totally understand and agree with this building a foundation, the importance of that. Whether you do sell or don't sell your business down the track, it still is important because that is what's going to keep your business going when you need to take a little break, when you have the foundation that things can run. So the
Mm.
first couple of business that I had myself, for example, were designed to be bought, built
Mhm.
up, grown, and sold. That was my intention at the time. Most of the time, though, as you say, women in business start because of a passion, don't they? And it's that
Yes.
passion that carries them without looking
Mm.
at, oh, it's got to have a foundation so that
Yeah.
it can carry you further from there
Mm.
on in. So, this why that you are asking, do you sometimes come across women that will say, yeah, foundation here or there, but I just want to get going? I mean, is that something you do come across, and what do you do, Joanne?
Yeah, yeah, all the time. And what I know is, one of the greatest myths we've been sold as women in business is this. If you work harder, it'll work out. You just keep working harder. We have this societal norms thrown and thrust upon us, like just go do that multitasking, look after the kids, get the dinner ready, go do this, go do that, get that business built to this big thing. But what I know is hustle often hides your misalignment because we actually use speed to avoid strategy. What we often get stuck in is reacting and not leading. And when I say leading, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are listening to this and watching it who might be lead. They're the solopreneurs of their business and they've got aspirations to build. So you may think you're not leading anyone, you're leading self. So the first thing that you need to do if you are ready to outgrow the grind and all those sort of things, you need to fix what's going on in here. You need to discover your voice, your values, your mission, your vision. And I would ask the audience here, how many of you have established that? And how many of you had a conversation with your partner, your significant other, your clients, your suppliers, everybody in your circle about what the vision is for your business? How many of you are brave enough to go, I'm about to grow this business and it's going to be this and it's going to look like that? And significant other, children, people, little people who are in my life, this is what it's going to look like when we get there. How often do you have that conversation with your significant other to say, this is why I'm doing all the hours. This is why I'm working hard. This is what it's going to look like and what's in it for you when we get there. And it could be, kids, we're going to go to Disneyland and we're going to go to do this and we're going to do that. Or I can get you in that amazing school that you want. Or I can go get that coach to teach you soccer, dancing, whatever. What is it that you're sharing with your circle so that they understand where you're going with this thing? Because, we often reach a point where the old way just stops working.
Mm,
Strategy can feel really heavy sometimes. And one thing that I often speak about is pace. Now, I'll say it again, 30 million in 24 months, 2 staff to 110 staff, 50 clients to thousands of clients, 24 months. Think of the pace of that. Think of, I felt like I was the little mouse on that wheel. And I remember thinking, I can't get off this thing. Too many people rely on me. So when I talk about pace of scaling, and everybody's version of scaling will be different, is consider the pace. I often speak about slow down to speed up.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you are so on the ball here with this, Joanne. It is something that when it hasn't been experienced, it
Mm,
sounds
mm.
quite out there, quite foreign. Oh, I can handle this. I just want to, yeah, have all this money coming in. But it is, like we said before, if that foundation isn't solid in the first place, then the more that comes in, the more you have to kind of juggle it because it hasn't got a path to take so that you can grow in that way. I can't imagine, building to that size in 24 months, comparing it to what I did. I had about 3 to 4 years is what the allocation for me was. And it wasn't to necessarily up it to that size of level. It was to up it to get a good sale out of it as a
Yeah.
return for me.
Mhm,
So this
mhm.
is really relevant what you're saying, to be very clear from the start. What is it? Where are you going with it? And have that clarity at the start, which
Yeah.
is what you're working with. And when you are working with women in business in particular,
Mhm.
in general, the people that you've come across in your working time in business as an entrepreneur, do you see big differences there amongst women of perhaps different age groups or different backgrounds? Are there big differences when they go into business, Joanne?
Oh, I think there is a one fundamental piece is that they want to do good. They want to actually make that impact. Sorry, let me my computer, the lovely thing about Max, picks up the phone. Um, uh, many women across countries, culture, age, everything, they have a passion. They have something that they want to deliver. I have actually seen a massive tidal wave of coaches landing in the self-employed entrepreneurial space as a direct result of COVID, tired of corporate. They've hit a ceiling and they've just had a bit of a gutful, to put it really blankly. And they're going, I'm going to become a coach, which is amazing, which is absolutely amazing. But what I'm also seeing is a lot of those don't have coaches themselves. It's a very interesting dynamic that's going on out there at the moment. So if I'm going to say one thing about people who are talking with having a coach in their life and helping them and supporting them, please do check the credibility, the length of time, the experience. What do they bring to the table to help you build and grow? But I think, and I see this tidal wave is the mature aged woman. Sigrid, to answer your question. But there is so much opportunity today. Like gone is the day that you could create a business and it was just going to impact your suburb. That's gone. Like we all have a global opportunity here. And I would say, even if it's a cafe, I can share one really quick story. I remember during COVID, Navigate Biz was supporting about 10,000 business owners through some government funding here in our state to survive COVID. And one of them had the most amazing breakthrough. He was a cafe owner, he was closed, right? So we we're working with what he could do. And we suggested he put a recipe on social media about one of the brownies that all his clients loved. And blow me down, but somebody out of Hollywood found that recipe, and it was Ashton Kutcher. And he made that cafe overnight world famous because of their brownies. So that story is just to share with you that I don't actually, it doesn't matter if you're a cafe owner, a hairdresser, an Ashley Carroll, a financial coach, a Sigrid, we now have an opportunity to have a global reach, right? And so these pieces that I'm talking about, and scale will be different from one person to the next. It could be my scaling strategy. I need a VA. Great. What do we got to do to make that happen? Or I want to license my program. This is my exit strategy. I'm going to license my key program to as many women globally as I possibly can.
Mm. Absolutely, so powerful what you've just shared, Joanne. And I'm just going to very briefly go back and highlight that again. Now, when we are talking about working with somebody, particularly in the field of coaching, as you have so truly said there, what is their experience. A lot of people come into it and they may have really, some good knowledge, but that does not necessarily translate to experience. And I
Yeah.
think we have heard in the session around the Global Virtual Expo with our speakers that everyone has practical, down to earth
Mhm.
experience in their field that they are working in. And I think that is really important that you've pointed that out, to look for that when you are ready to work with somebody. And absolutely across global. Congratulations on the work that you did there with that cafe that was going so wild, to all the
Yes,
way up to
crazy.
a person, a highly well-known person. And
Yeah.
it is possible for everybody. And this is why global connections and being visible
Mhm.
globally is so important.
Yeah.
We can be well known in our local area. That's great. That's one thing. But ultimately, being global not only gives us the visibility and what we are offering and the message we have, but it also gives us the opportunity again to be connected and learn more from the rest of the world as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. That's the wonderful thing that's come out of COVID. I can't tell you how explosive my network has become in its physical geographic reach, in that, well, you look at the ladies who are here today, and however many will be, people will be looking at the recording. They're going to be from every part of the world, literally. And who would have thought that was ever possible? And so, a lot of the women that I speak with, because I do love working with women because I am one, and it just resonates with me. But the wonderful thing is, and the opportunity here is gone are the days that the person who was prepared to do the public speaking thing, get on video, was a person brave enough to stand on a physical stage. Now we do it every moment of the day. This thing that we're on, a virtual trade show. And so, for me as a circle builder, it is about bringing in the women that my clients need to give them the confidence to what they wear. Yeah, I had a stylist help me 15 years ago. So I know that the things that I wear suit my body, makes me feel good. I also had a professional speaker help me to be a public speaker. So all those elements are things that we need. For me, my job is to give my clients in my circle access to those resources, because it was only because someone suggested. I started, my team was building to 100 staff, and I was starting to spend a lot of time in front of them speaking. Interestingly, I'm an absolute introvert, and I love my own space, and I love sitting on my own, and I'm not somebody who will necessarily get up and stand and speak in front of somebody. So I needed to shift. I needed to do something that gave me the confidence and the right clothes, glasses, what all that stuff, and having the confidence how to speak, how to breathe through it. We all need those things. And I speak to so many women who go, "Oh, I just can't get in front of the screen." Well, actually, you do it every day. How many Zoom meetings are you on?
And that's part really of the foundation building, I would put it to,
Exactly.
Joanne.
Yeah.
You've got the foundation in your business where we are talking about systems and processes, where we have
Mhm.
to have, the financial side and the delivery side and so on in place. But, that part that you've just touched on, how do I look? How do I speak? Where's my confidence, is part of that foundation as well. It's the personal component of the
Yes.
foundation of setting it up. So, do you think, in regards to confidence, part of it is the more you do it, the more you get it? Is that how you see
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And of course, when COVID hit, we all were thrust upon this thing called Zoom, and we all had to navigate it and work it out. Absolutely is the case. And for me, how do we all stand out to be unique to capture the attention of our audience? Well, the only unique thing about me is that me. Ashley looks like Ashley. Hella looks like her. Sigrid looks like you. So be prepared to stand up and be the face of your business. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to do that forever, because, as I said, your exit strategy is to extract yourself out of it. But you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to get comfortable to go to be prepared to talk on this thing, videos yourself. So one of the things that I used to teach people during COVID when they were going, oh, I can't do video, etc. So one of the quick tips that I used to share with people and do continue to do this is, all righty, go grab yourself. And I am a friend of colored pens. So, all these colored pens, I've got a whole bunch of them. So go grab a piece of paper, a whole bunch of colored pens, and write 50 things that you know. Very small micro things that you know. Give me a good spreadsheet. I'm a really happy girl. Ask me to proofread, not so fast. All the things that you know. When you get stuck, change the color, change the color, change the color. Okay. So what does that do for that woman? And I do get phone calls from women. Oh, I'm at 26. Where do I go? I'm stuck. No, you're not. Go change the color pen. You'll be fine. At the end of it, I'll have a conversation, say, okay, so what does it tell you? Man, I know a lot of stuff. You do. Guess what you've just done? You've now got a list of 50 things you can talk about on social media because you know it.
Uh,
Great.
look, that beats everything. That beats everything I've heard. 50 things in colored pencil, change the color when you get stuck. Joanne, that
And
is the most
it's
brilliant.
gold. It's gold. So I'll take it the next level. So then you pop this baby on a tripod and you will look, go back to your speaker bit earlier on today, Sigrid. Go and use ChatGPT, craft a message, get it to write it, stick it into your phone, teleprompter, they're free, and talk for 2 minutes. At the same time, this is multitasking. At the same time, open a Word document and get it to dictate it. You may not have to do that because you got chat. Now you have the framework that you can slice and dice a 2.5 minute video in probably about 20 different things. Turn it into a newsletter, turn it into a blog, turn it into a 12-second something for Instagram. When you are talking about the things that you love and you know, it becomes easier, easier, easier. So do one a day. You've got your list of 50 things. There's no thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? You know 50 things. Talk about it. Get in front of everyone and film it, slice it and dice it. Away you go.
That absolutely. Now, I'm going to leave our audience with this from everything that you have shared, and we need to go back to the beginning to listen to this again when we are on the recording of it because there's so many points in there. But everything that you have shared, I certainly have taken away from this to take it back to structure, starting with a foundation in the first place, because 50 pieces, whatever, how many pieces you do, you slice and dice them, doesn't matter if you haven't got initially that foundation, that structure in place. I think that is what the big takeaway is here for me. Joanne, I thank you. What is a parting sentence, word, phrase you would like to leave our audience with?
Ladies, men, women in business, get yourself a circle. Surround yourself with the people that you need to support and lift you. I have a Navigate circle subscription. Come join me. You'll learn all the things that I've just shared. But if that's not for you, that's cool. Go find your circle. And guess what? The circle can change, can morph, can go bigger, can go smaller. But please go find your circle.
Have that support around you, just like that foundation to get started with it. Thank you so much, Joanne Brooks, for sharing your insights and your wisdom with us today.
Thank you.